Okay, now it is. All right, let's go. So we just found out that damn the devil is SPC 682, and he
The
fought
smell of death
Ariel and
and
survived.
rot
Uriel.
filled the beast's cell as the mangled corpse of a woman fell through the ceiling. She was covered in a black substance that ate away at her flesh as he crept forward to investigate. A quick sniff confirmed what he already knew.
What? Because she was already gone?
A sound like wet mud began to echo around his cell as the walls began to bleed a thick tar.
Bro, how powerful is he?
Not today, old man.
SCP-682 squared his shoulders and charged at the cell door.
Oh shit.
Despite several inches of tungsten and reinforced concrete, the door buckled and broke.
Damn.
He easily barged his way through the secondary containment gates and
he fought
sprinted
little
down the
angel
nearest corridor,
devil
eager
dude.
to put as much distance between the old man and himself as possible. SCP-682 had no intention of paying hell a visit. As he attempted to navigate the endless corridors, he saw the old man's handiwork everywhere. Crippled bodies lying in puddles of filth and blood, faces contorted in petrified agony.
This is hell? SCP.
He slammed through a wall and found himself falling down an elevator shaft. He dug his claws into the walls and began to claw his way to the surface.
Damn.
His blood ran cold as he looked up to see SCP-106 standing horizontal on the wall.
Oh shit, this old
Looking down
man.
at him. He froze.
Leave me alone.
He demanded.
He saw
The iconic smile of the old man formed across his face, usually the last thing a person saw before death took them. His face disappeared into a conglomeration of corrosive fluid that detached from the wall and hurtled towards SCP-682. The beast felt his face liquefy like butter in a hot pan as the acid washed over him. He screamed in agony and felt the flesh around his mouth crack and split. A searing solution of melted flesh and bone ran down his throat. He fell away from the wall and plummeted down the elevator shaft.
Your flesh and bones drowning you out. Sheesh!
The beast pulled himself out of the rubble and looked upwards. There was no way he was reaching either the elevator shaft or the other several floors he had crashed through on his descent. He was in some kind of storage room. Crates were piled high and all covered in the same black substance. He turned to see the old man casually sitting on one of the boxes, head tilted at an angle, with a smile on his face.
I have waited so long for this moment.
Damn, he's got the same voice.
Leave me
682.
alone. I have heard so many titles for you.
Never mind.
The steed that death will ride into the apocalypse. One of the Scarlet King's children.
So Scarlet King is like
The
the most
servant
powerful
from the
being?
garden. Which one are you? All of them.
Is that the old man?
I think we both know you aren't the devil.
The beast suddenly fell through the floor into a bubbling black whirlpool.
Okay, I guess
682 roared in defiance and
Lucifer.
sunk his claws into the floor and began trying to
beast from
claw
the Bible.
himself back out. He could feel the acid beginning to work its way through his lower body. And then just as suddenly, he was falling through the air.
Holy smokes.
682 landed almost immediately on soft grass. He took a few moments to center himself as the sun shone brightly on his face. The thought was interrupted almost immediately as a massive glowing sword came down on his hindquarters.
No.
682 said.
Oh snap.
He started to run further into the garden, trailing blood as he went. Our Lord has declared you unwelcome in the garden. I will see to your removal.
Bro,
The
I didn't
glowing
even
angel
know I was
holding the
getting
sword
sent
raised a
here.
hand, and 682 was lifted off the ground.
You have corrupted his greatest creation. Leave this place and never return.
Yeah, bro, he's literally
682's limbs
he's
flailed
Satan.
uselessly
I'm
in the
sorry.
air. Then suddenly he was hurtling out and away from paradise.
Or Bowser. One of
He landed on soft grass again. The sun shone brightly once more, and then a massive glowing sword came down on his hindquarters.
again?
Our Lord has declared you unwelcome in the garden. I will see to your removal.
682 didn't run
Oh,
this
okay.
time. He closed his eyes as he was lifted up and hurtled through the air once again.
Bro, is it gonna be a repeat?
He landed.
Oh
Our
shit!
Lord has declared you unwelcome.
Fucking hell.
The old
Fucking
man
hell.
chuckled at the sight. The lizard had a strange mind, but was not wholly unreadable. This garden was the site of the creature's greatest regret, and its greatest source of
Yeah,
sorrow.
he was safe.
But the beast was already adapting to this too. Wait, is the beast sleeping now? through torment.
So even through genjutsu,
This
he can
wouldn't do.
adapt to genjutsu?
The old man let the scene dissolve away, and he looked down at the pitiful creature from atop his throne. 682 landed hard on the stone floor and bounced twice before coming to a rest.
Holy smokes.
Then it opened its eyes, looked up at the old man, and leapt. 682 pounced on 106 and began bludgeoning him,
Oh, snap.
each strike tearing strips from his fists. 682 struck again and again and again. Brain matter, concrete, and shattered skull fragments flew outwards like shrapnel until 682 finally ceased his assault. He fell
I
backwards
don't
and took
think
some
that's
deep
it,
breaths.
though, man. Because
The
that old
headless
man's got
body
a
of
lot
the old
going
man
on.
lay there, motionless.
He's got a lot going on.
But just as the beast thought his duel was over, it began again. The corpse was swallowed up by the black
See?
tar, and a renewed, whole old man stepped out from a wall.
See?
The old man sneered.
I expected
Oh, man.
more.
SCP-682 dug deep and vomited acid at the man. SCP-106 stepped to the side. The acid went soaring through
sheesh.
past the old man and came splashing down on the beast from another portal the old man had opened in the ceiling above
Damn
him. 682 roared from the pain and lunged at the old man once more. 106 opened another gateway and a serrated rock formation came shooting upwards, impaling the reptile. The old man stepped forward, dodging the flailing limbs, and began to sink his hand through the flesh and into the beast's chest cavity.
Bruh, this is
682
dark,
felt the
dark.
withered,
It was already
blistering
dark, but it's
hand
darker
grip
now.
his heart and then tear it out. He turned to look at the old man. This time he was sporting the smile.
Pathetic.
What?
682 jolted his entire body to the right, breaking free from the rock and impaling the old man on his tail in the
He's
process.
adapting?
He splashed him into the floor, and the old man quickly sunk into it. 682 spun around looking for where he would appear from next.
Where are you coming from,
Several new
son?
eyes formed on his head, all looking outward for their target.
I thought you wanted more.
Bruh, this thing is unstoppable.
682 saw a puddle beginning to spread out to his right. By the time the old man had only just managed to get his head and shoulders out, 682 was already on him. A quick snap of the jaws and the old man was reforming and ascending from another portal.
Bruh.
Again,
682 is not
682 was
fucking with.
there waiting for him. The old man proceeded to open up several dozen portals to confuse the reptile, but he was welcomed by tendrils ready at each one.
There's that Eldritch
He was quickly
God
ensnared
powers
and brought
kicking
to the
in.
reptile's face. The old man's acid ate away much more slowly now at the beast's skin. A second tendril suddenly fired towards the old man and forced its way down his throat, splitting his jaw with a wet crack. He felt it spinning around inside as if he had swallowed a blender.
Enough.
The old man shouted as he reformed again. He opened a massive
said,
portal in the
"That's
storage room, and both 682 and all the contents began to sink into it.
He had to go OP mode. Uh-oh. What's happening?
A piercing scream suddenly came blaring from the PA system. The unmistakable sound of a young man in the most agonizing pain.
What?
106's dinner bell was ringing. He closed the portal, bisecting the reptile, and looked down at him.
You hear that? Broken femur. So young. And in so much pain.
What does he eat?
So much adrenaline. They spoil me sometimes.
682 coughed up blood and bile, and clawed his way away from the pool that was still eating away at his belly.
I
106 waved his hand, and corrosive fluid began to creep along the ceiling, burrowing up and throughout the concrete.
Until our next dance, then.
The sound of cracking and grinding rock echoed around the walls as 682 looked up at the heavy stone slabs. The old man gave the beast a smile and disappeared as the ceiling collapsed.
Villain exit. Like Eisen type shit. Snoozle.
Mysterious thing time.
Holy moly, this done got mad interesting, y'all. I'm just in here vibing and watching. Here we go. Revelations. We gotta do the old man next. Spear.
The serpent looked up into the sky as the glowing angel descended upon him.
It has been decreed.
The entity said as it raised a massive ethereal sword.
And he's back to the sword duty.
You don't
Oh, snap.
understand. I did as he asked.
It has been decreed. There is no way other than this.
Father,
The blue clear sky did not answer him.
Yeah, he
The
was
sword
Lucifer and got
sank
betrayed.
into the serpent's midsection with a sickening crunch. The serpent screamed as he felt his flesh begin to sear and crack. His radiant aura dissipated as scaled limbs tore their way outwards. The angel's voice bellowed.
Leave this place and never return.
He hit him so hard he made him grow limbs.
From the observation room, a collection of smug and self-satisfied scientists stared into the containment chamber. SCP-343 looked entirely disinterested, but at least he was still here. The experiment would begin at any moment. The test room itself was large, with 2 airlock-sized doors on either side and a single chair in the middle. SCP-343 hadn't taken a seat when he entered, but he did prop himself up slightly on the back of the chair. The cold white walls echoed with every small noise 343 made.
That's hilarious.
A large door
I'm a
at the
hippie
far end
man.
of the chamber opened slowly, and a massive beast stepped forward.
Oh shit, here we go.
SCP-682 took one look at 343 across from him and shrieked with rage. 343, still mostly disinterested, looked up at the last moment as 682 jumped at his throat.
Of course
343 stood tall and raised a hand. The moment froze. 682 in the air, claws outstretched in attack. The man's face shifted slightly to one of pain.
What he said? Oh,
The
he
room and the
activated
moment
his
itself
powers.
melted away. All of reality shifted in a moment to another place and another time. The two entities stood on a cliff overlooking a battle in the distance. Thousands of men with bronze swords and shields cut each other down as the sun rose higher and higher into the sky. SCP-343 looked over at his son and nodded.
I thought perhaps we could talk.
That's his
The
son?
monster squinted in the sun and growled back.
About what? Regrets.
Oh, the son. Like,
Are
yeah, she
you
meant.
looking for forgiveness? You cast me out. For what? These worms.
Oh, wait. There's that. See, that's why I gotta watch
SCP-343
SCP
sighed
videos
and looked
to get caught up on the lore. I didn't know. Is that
to
is
the battleground
343
in front
God?
of them.
They're more than you think. I know that doesn't make it right. Then let me back in.
I can't.
Do you think that would matter? You're so angry. All the time.
You can snap.
It isn't fair. No, but things rarely are. And if I allowed you back into paradise, how long until that anger led to more suffering and pain?
I'm gonna eat you all.
I can control myself, unlike some people.
Who, Euro?
The sun began to dim.
Oh, he's talking about the
The two
humans.
of them
Like,
sat
bro,
in
you talking
silence
about
as
me,
the
bro? The
battle below
humans.
them started to wane,
Man, he's
an
not
eclipse was
feeling it
beginning.
at all.
They don't know the difference between an eclipse and a message from God. Pathetic. Is it? They wonder at my creation and worship my names. Something you were never capable of. And that's all that really matters, right? No. No, it isn't. Let me show you something.
God's really chilled, I guess. But also,
The darkness
a
took
jerk.
both of them suddenly. When they flashed back into reality, they stood atop a skyscraper overlooking New York in its prime. The smell of fresh pastries and petrol fumes rose to fill their nostrils as the high noon sun shimmered on the Hudson River. From this vantage point, they could see the extent of human ingenuity all the way to the horizon.
Yeah, we're kind of good at building.
What is this?
What is this?
Progress. Look.
The two of them looked over the edge of their office building perch.
Show 'em the
traffic
racism.
below was already starting to become gridlocked. The people on the wide sidewalks were making their way along the boulevards to and from a variety of destinations.
Congratulations, Dad. You made fucking ants.
Never mind.
682 said, before leaning back again.
He said, yay.
Each one of those ants has a purpose. They don't know what it is, but that's what makes it interesting. So, what do you think your purpose is?
Oh, shit.
Purpose? What the fuck are you talking about?
Now he's talking all sassy
What
to
we
God.
do today means something, and will echo for an eternity. Bullshit. It isn't. Not even close. Tell me your purpose.
What is your purpose?
There was a long pause.
SCP-682.
The gentle breeze picked up speed. The city beneath them was slowly coming more and more to life as the traffic began to ease.
I don't know that I care. To kill as many of the ants as I can. And what does that accomplish? You end a dozen people, sure. But they can just put you in a box again. It hurts you. Your precious fucking human pets are all gonna die one day. And I'm gonna be there to see it. Exactly.
Damn.
What the fuck you know what, fuck this.
SCP-682 growled again and took a swipe at 343 with his massive claws. The scene froze again. 343 was the only thing in motion now.
Damn.
He circled 682.
I suppose the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
The reference.
Light flashed all around them, and then they returned to a dark universe.
Ooh.
The earth beneath them was cold stone. Long lines stretched out around them, making deep grooves into the crust of the planet. 682's swing finished and connected with 343's torso. The older man flew across the landscape and landed hard against some boulders. 343 stood up and dusted himself off.
Do not test me, son.
Why not?
Bruh,
You
Lucifer's out
worried
here
you might
wild.
lose.
The older man's voice was soft and gentle now, but his eyes leveled and focused on the monster in front of him.
No, I'm worried you might die.
Then let's finish this.
Man,
682 slowly circled 343, keeping his eyes focused on the man in front of him. Then he jumped again. SCP-343 was gone in an instant, and 682 tumbled into the rocks.
He's really
The older
trying
man
to find
appeared
God right
behind
now.
682.
I don't want to do this.
I don't care.
A tentacle snaked out from behind 682 and wrapped around 343's feet. The older man seemed caught off guard and was pulled off his feet. 682 turned in place
God.
and brought his claws to bear on the trapped older man. 343 flashed out of existence for a moment and the tentacle went slack. Then 343 appeared in the air far above 682.
Enough!
Damn, he went ham.
He struggled against the instinct, but he still leaned to the ground on his front paws in response.
Damn.
As 682 was forced to bow before God, he yelled at the sky.
Why did you bring me here?
The man
trying to
pointed at the
teach you a lesson.
lines in the crust.
You make these markings, son.
SCP-343 waved his hand, and the ground split to reveal dozens of humanoids in strange spacesuits buried beneath the ground.
You need to understand. The humans matter,
Literal
but
magic.
one day they'll be gone. We're supposed to protect them.
So why send me at all?
So that they can get stronger.
There was a pause then. 343 floating in the air, glowing slightly now in holy majesty. 682 still bowed there on the dead earth, in a dead universe, after the end of everything. 682 spoke up again.
It wasn't my fault she said yes.
I know that. I'm sorry I blamed you.
Then take me back. I promise you, I can be good.
I said it. And at the time I meant it. It's immutable. It can't change.
Damn,
I
God's
just
ice
want to go
cold.
home.
You will always be of the kingdom of heaven, but apart from it.
Damn.
You'll see everything. 1,000 endings. Your anger will subside,
Sheesh.
and you'll be witness to the greatest this universe has to offer.
I hope you know how much I hate you.
I know. This will be the last time we speak. I wanted to say goodbye.
Damn, Dad.
Fuck you.
There above them in the dark void of space where no stars or people remained, the last flash of light shined briefly. The bonds that held the Earth together began to feel a tug as the expansion of the universe finally pulled it apart. But 682 and 343 were back in that cold, sterile containment cell. 682 in
this
the
is
air,
crazy,
frozen. 343 looking up with disinterest. And then it all began to move again. The smug scientist watched as 682 passed through the space where 343 stood, and then continued
Damn.
on attempting to break down the other chamber door.
Oh,
The smugness faded as 682 began to heavily damage the other door. 343 looked up at the observers through the window and shook his head.
He is no longer one of mine.
he's gone.
You'll have to deal with him yourself.
And in that moment, he was gone entirely.
I think God
A
just
team of
shook
armed
out.
men and women stood on the other side of the door, weapons ready. The monster was close to breaking through now. An alarm went out across the site. The Foundation opened fire as they saw the creature's snout push through the hole it had made. Somewhere else, in another place, SCP-343 sat down.
Damn, God felt bad. He had to
and
give up
wept.
a son. His only begotten. His other begotten.
And that concludes the origins of SCP-682. Well, mine and Dr. Sumerian's version anyway. I hope you enjoyed this video and be sure to like and subscribe if you did. Massive thanks to Dr. Sumerian,
Y'all
my
be sure to check out SPC Illustrated. That channel got some pretty good stuff, and there's a couple of SPC based channels for the people that come up with the things. I just like watching them and reacting to them. That was kind of dope. Yeah, because I've been following the SCP-682 storyline. So like, I didn't think that like it'll be the literal son of Satan. So that was a kind of cool little twist. It's me. Nope. But anyway, be sure to hit like the subscribe button and we'll do more SCP videos. I'm surprisingly digging these. But yeah, it's the King of Jank.